You've already played one game that I wanted to play. We're going to play another one, okay?
Okay.
You can ask the football universe anything about the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, all right.
Anything. Any question you want answered about the Arizona Cardinals.
And we would have a definitive answer.
You get a definitive answer.
Okay. Will Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. have the chemistry we expect them to have?
That's it.
You know that. I've been very, very consistent on this.
You have. You have been very consistent, and I should have seen that coming.
Right.
I thought you were going to say, are they bringing back Kaiser White or Will Hernandez?
Oh, man, that is good. What question do you have? What is your question for the football universe in regard to the Arizona Cardinals?
I have a few. They're not as. I mean, the big one is like you said. Mine, I guess, would be how do you get Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. to have that chemistry? Because if the football universe was like, nope, next question, I'd be like, all right, well, I guess I have nothing left to pay attention to here. But some of the smaller ones would be like, how are you going to fit all these guys on the field defensively? Who's sticking around at the end of training camp? Like, they're going to be one of those teams that other teams are keeping an eye on when cuts come down.
Oh, I honestly, there are 4. You can rush the passer with 4 and get consistent pressure on the passer with 4. You can do that, basically. You really can. Pick the 4 guys that will be doing that for the Arizona Cardinals right now. It is really, there are 13 names for 4 spots that, you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, Josh Sweat has got one of those.
There's one of them. Okay.
And that's going to be the case.
So now you got 12 names for 3 spots.
I would also say, and this is going to be a little shocking maybe, Walter Nolan is one of those.
You think he's one of them already?
I think he's going to be that good in terms of being an interior pass rusher. Okay. Now, hopefully, he's going to be a really good 3 technique against the run as well. But Walter Nolan, I think, is going to be one of those guys that could provide a little something for the Arizona Cardinals.
We're going to do this right now. We're going to get command and control involved in this too real quick.
Okay.
It's just a quick question.
Yeah.
All right, for everybody. Somebody write it down. I'll write it down on this piece of paper, but then I'll throw it away. Who has more sacks next year, Walter Nolan or Darius Robinson?
Oh, man.
We'll start with command and control. Let's start. Rick, where would you, Walter Nolan or Darius Robinson more sacks next year?
Walter Nolan.
Okay. Jamal?
D-Rob.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Robinson too. He kind of feels, not like a risk, but like he's played a season, but he missed a lot of it. Walter Nolan might be a little unique if he's just rushing right up the middle. That's tough.
Boy, that really is. You know what I'm going to do?
I'm going to go D-Rob.
I'm going D-Rob as well.
Okay.
I'm going to go Darius Robinson, and the reason being is because I think that Nick Rollis is going to move Darius Robinson around. I think we're going to see him in a lot of different areas. And Darius Robinson also, when you think about the motivation factor, do you think there's going to be a player that is more motivated than Darius Robinson? You know how squared away this kid is.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
This kid is squared away.
He loves the process.
He loves the process, and he loves the game. And, man, last year was a massive disappointment for Darius Robinson. Yeah. So I think he knows he's got a lot to prove. And I think he'll accept and embrace that challenge. And because of that, I think he's in for a big year. Now, once again, year 1 to year 2 is typically the most you're going to grow as an NFL player.
Yeah.
From year 1 to year 2. How much will that be the case for Darius Robinson?
I also think what you said about Nick Rollis moving them all around. Like I feel like we're going to see Darius Robinson on the line. He's going to be edge. We're going to see him
over the center,
dropping out of the sky in a parachute to land on the quarterback. Like Nick Rollis is going to just like have him everywhere that he possibly can to get. Yeah, so I'm excited to see what he can do, assuming he stays on the field and everything. But you gotta see what he can do. This is Monty Ossenfort when he was on with us earlier this week. We asked him flat out, "Is there anything else you need to do to this roster?" And this is what he said.
Well, Luke, I think the team building process never ends, right? So, I think we just actually had a meeting today with our pro department and just talked about who's still out there and who's available and where we might have some room to add somebody or move the roster around a little little bit. So, that never quite ends. But, I think to your point, that has been a huge focus is we want to increase competition. And we feel that we've been able to do that over the course of, 3 drafts now and 2 free agency periods. We feel like we've been able to do that. And so, it's only going to bring out the best in everybody. It's going to bring out the best of everybody on the practice field in the preseason so that when we're ultimately deciding this 53-man roster, it's going to increase our depth. It's going to increase our starting spots, and you guys know this is a long season, and we've seen it the last 2 years, just the attrition that takes place at positions. You can never have enough talented depth on the team, and we're excited to see that depth and that competition play out once we get into August.
How much did you talk about Kaiser White and Will Hernandez? How much did you talk about him, buddy?
Answer me. I didn't answer on Will Hernandez and Kaiser White.
I think that's when I followed up.
You did.
Didn't I bring that follow-up?
I did, and that's when he was like, I'm going to give Wolf the most median GM answer I can. Because I said this earlier this week when we had him on, Monty's really good at giving you an answer as a GM, like a legitimate answer. Like I came out of the interview like, wow, they are almost as surprised as we are that Will Johnson was still there. Like, he gave us some real good stuff. But when you tried to corner him on Kaiser White and Will Hernandez, this is what he said. Yeah, Wolf, I think we keep lines of communication open with a lot of players. And so, that's constant checking in and seeing where everybody is. And so I think those are conversations that continue to take place. And we got to see how it goes here. We got to see once we get our own guys out on the field and see how that goes. And just check in and see. Everybody's got, those 2 guys are still free agents, and so they may have opportunities too. So, I certainly keep those lines of communication open, and we'll continue to do that here and if there's a fit for adding to our roster, we won't hesitate to do it. He basically told you he owns a phone.
Yeah.
That's basically what his answer was.
Yeah, right. Exactly, man. I'm so distracted right now because we've got something on one of these televisions here in the studio, Basinonians.
It looks pretty old school.
It literally was showing Jeff Hostetler in West by God, Virginia, in 1983,
wow.
As a matter of fact. And there was Don Nalen, Daddy Don, head coach of the West Virginia Mountaineers, ladies and gentlemen, and a guy that I love to my very bones. And there he was wow. I actually saw myself on a highlight.
Was that you?
Are
right
you
there?
kidding me?
What's going on
okay,
on this TV?
Very distracting going on right now. I'm sorry, Luke. I apologize.
That was you in college right there.
That was, 36. Wow. Number 36.
What's going on
as a matter of fact, and I just jacked some dude up from Boston College. I'm not bragging, Basinonians. Hey, it happened.
NFL Network just put it on the screen. That's live as we're doing the show. I got one more question before we go to break that I would ask.
Yeah.
Is Michael Wilson going to be like a clear-cut, bona fide number 2 receiver this year? Yeah. That would be a question I would ask.
You know what? I think he's going to take that next step. Yeah, I think he will.
If he can do that, I think they're a playoff team.
The problem is the combination of Marvin Harrison Jr., and if he really, really takes that next step himself, man, he's going to get a lot of targets with Trey McBride.
Yeah.
Those 2 guys alone, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride. So it might be difficult for him to make the kind of impact we're hoping for.